for Death and Taxes. Oh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wednesday night Modern at the Gathering Place. We are in for some good events here. My name is Isaac.
I'm Walker.
We're going to be your commentators this evening. First up, we have, I don't know if we can hand over to the players. We have Kenneth Choa on Death and Taxes against Shane Roby on Burn. Should be fun. Both players could run away with the game, and it likely won't be too long since one of them's Burn. So, let's go over there.
I don't think I've ever seen Burn versus Death and Taxes. Like, Death and Taxes usually tries to attack the game by resource denial, but it seems like that normally wouldn't be that big a deal against Burn, right? They're trying to proactively kill the opponent. But stumbling on mana, that's bad for Burn, right? They need the tools necessary to kill. What's the win percentages like here? Do you know?
I'm not sure on the exact win percentages. The games can go a couple different ways. It depends how they try to play it. If Kenneth tries to put Athalia in play and make all of Shane's spells cost more, then he's going to have a hard time burning him out. Yeah. Unless he gets rid of Athalia, then he's not mana. That's damage not pointed at.
Exactly. Yeah. That's hard. True in all Magic.
That being said, though, the burn deck's full of removal and the white deck's full of creatures. So they could just play it out to where Shane removes all the kind of creatures and then hits him in the face a couple times. And if Burn wants to play control more.
I mean, this is still we got a top 3 cards here, and it looks like Burn. That's pretty similar. Yeah, but over here I see Samwise. I don't think I've ever seen Samwise in Death and Taxes. Do you know what it does for them?
Yeah, so Samwise is a 1 and a white for, I don't know, it's a 1/1 or something like that. But he says when he comes into play, you can get a card back from your graveyard.
I see some action out here. We
got so going back
Guide
to the game,
down.
Goblin Guide, waited for the trigger to get maximum value. Didn't find the land, unfortunately. But what Kenneth has done is pitch casted a Solitude. Looks like he discarded something not too important. He's going to draw the Stoneforge Mystic Return.
Yep.
And there is Samwise, if I don't miss my guess.
Yep.
Or that might be Thalia. Actually, it's probably Thalia.
If only. It's not zoomable.
It is. Well,
we can blow it up, but it won't enhance. Like, do you recognize that? Is that Thalia or Samwise?
That's a Thalia, Guardian of Dragon. Cool. Excellent TV. We just zoomed in on it on our side. Found that is indeed a Thalia. So now all of Shane's spells are going to cost 1 mana more until he gets rid of that Thalia at the bottom of the table there.
Wow, I stuck on 1 land over here that
you can't
sometimes you gotta keep it, but this is gonna be rough.
About to play a card, thinking, is it a land? Oh. It better be.
Looks like we got
that's a land
here.
Looks like that is a Sacred Foundry. So he paid 2 life, it comes in untapped, he can cast a spell as long as it originally cost a single mana, because now it costs 2. Assuming it's a non-creature spell, which all of Burn spells are.
Yeah. How many creatures are Burn running now? I mean, Goblin Guide, that's a pretty ubiquitous creature for Burn. Just proactive damage. Is there anything else?
Goblin Guide and Monastery Swift Spear are the 2 most well-known creatures from Burn. There are others. Eidolon of the Great Revel is a classic, but has been seeing fewer play.
Yeah.
A lot of decks now have very good ways to get rid of it, and it mostly just hurts Burn themselves. Yeah. But they do still have that probably in the sideboard.
Yeah.
And then, that's probably it for creatures.
Well, there's Preston.
Like a judge call.
Yeah, it looks like a judge was called. Do you see what they're being called on?
I don't see. He has I'm guessing he is trying. Oh, here. Wild guess. I bet he's trying to suspend a Riftbolt.
Oh,
because
sure.
Thalia's in place. How much does it cost?
Yeah, how much does it cost? Because suspend is an alternate cost, and so
suspend
is it a trigger?
Not a cast. So suspend, you put the card into exile with time counters on it, and then when all the time counters are removed, 1 per upkeep, you cast a spell.
Yeah.
I bet you that's what the question is there. If that's true,
Oh, you probably have to pay the one when it comes out.
When it comes off.
Yeah, when it comes off.
He's putting cards on the table. If we can get.
Preston, what was it?
Yeah.
So the question was on if you suspend a Rift Bolt.
Yeah.
If you suspend a Rift Bolt, do you have to pay the additional to suspend? The answer is no, but on the cast suspension, you do have to pay the additional.
Yep.
Which is just one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks like Preston confirmed it was a Rift Bolt question with Thalia in play. So he paid a single mana, which is the original cost to suspend that Rift Bolt, and then it looks like he also cast a Goblin Guide.
Things are not looking good for our burn player here.
The burn player has conceded.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that's definitely not good.
That's one of those cases where Death and Taxes just got there. What was that, turn 3, turn 4? Turn 3 for our Death and Taxes player. And it wasn't officially over, but
so what sort of tools does Burn have to deal with Thalia, like, on a cost-efficient basis? Do you think that this Burn player has Gutshot on the board? Is that even legal anymore?
I would be surprised if Gutshot comes in. So Thalia is probably the worst one to see. Being on the play, Burn's going to have a bit of an easier time removing it.
Yeah.
They can hold up mana and then kill it end of turn on turn 2 if they really want to, and then untap and do whatever they have to do. That is also assuming Kenneth draws it and plays it.
Yeah.
But that would, so the Burn player would have to be committing then to play a more controlling strategy, which he might not think he can win long term. So he might just be trying to fade the Thalia. He can cast up to 3 burn spells on turn 2 before Thalia comes down.
Yeah.
So it might just say, oh, what are you trying to get to 7-ish, especially against a deck that doesn't hurt itself. So you can get almost halfway there on turn 2, and then turn 3 cast 1 more. Maybe you really do need to remove that Thalia.
Yeah, also if he just doesn't draw it and he dies, then like that's a good way to get around Thalia.
Yeah, just burn him out before he gets there.
If you're dead, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Not Roiling Vortex. Searing Blaze is a card they often really like to use to get rid of creatures and keep doing damage to the face.
Yep.
Problem with Searing Blaze, it costs 2.
2.
So Thalia makes that 3.
Yeah. Modern is so fast. It's crazy. Like
these are a couple fast decks.
Yeah. But I mean, just generally, like 4 is still like the big casting cost for CNCs, right? Like it varies based off of what the meta looks like, but you want your 4-drops to be impactful. Back in my day, if a 4-drop was a hill giant with no downside, you were excited.
Yep. That, my friend, is called power creep.
Yeah. They reprinted Spiritmonger as an uncommon. Wizards, you so
Shuffling
crazy.
up for game 2, we have the Burn player going to be on the play.
Yep.
I'm kind of about to slow down a little bit this time.
So you've played against Kenneth here, right?
Yeah, Kenneth, or Kenny as he has it written down.
Yeah. So tell me, is there anything particular about his playstyle with Death and Taxes?
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
And he likes to try new things.
Yeah.
So he is the Death and Taxes brewer in the area. No one else really plays it aside from him.
Yeah.
But he's always been trying new things, been ready with new cards in day 1. He's trying not the One Ring, but the temp effects.
Yeah.
That use the ring emblem thing. We actually saw that at the very end of last game before Shane decided to go to the next one.
Yep.
Resulting mulligans right now.
Oh man, this is something where like having an over the shoulder cam would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just see what the hands look like.
Burn, from my understanding, usually tries to keep at least 12 damage in hand.
Yeah.
Through a variety of cards. And a mixture of lands and spells, of course. There's always that. But they want at least 12 damage on the fresh 7-card hand. It looks like they're both going to keep 7. They
All
already
right.
start this game.
Awesome.
Start with the Sacred Foundry, pay 2 life to get a red mana early on.
And
There's that
the
Monastery
Swift
Spear.
Yep.
Swift Spear, for those who don't... Oh, that is a
Oh
good
no.
card.
Oh no.
Gonna finish that thought. Swift Spear is a 1/2 with prowess, meaning it gets bigger when you cast more burn spells. But that is a Burnington Forge Tender that says...
Pro-red.
Pro-red. And also, if I remember correctly, it says that you can sacrifice it
to prevent all damage from one red source.
Prevent all damage from red source. So let's say that Shane here says, you know what, I'm going to try and snipe your Thalia. The Burning Forge Tender can just be like,
this is ridiculous.
No, bro.
I don't even know like what
There's
sort
a
of
Giver of
cards
Runes.
Burn is probably going to expect to even have
Another
in the
Giver
board.
of Runes.
It looks like it got worse after sideboard.
Yeah, so it
Ouch.
it's not going great for Burn.
No.
So those are 2 Giver of Runes in play. They are a whiff off the old Mother of Runes. Are you familiar with that card?
Yeah, that's a
Tap,
critical one.
give protection to a creature. It's pretty good. It's a little bit fixed, a little more fair, but it's still very good.
Yeah, now they just can't target themselves.
Correct.
But Mom was just
But
like
there's
the
2 of them.
absolute powerhouse. Yeah, you got it.
Roiling Vortex looks like.
Jesus Christ.
Says players can't gain life. Every upkeep, deal 1 damage to the player. And if a player would cast a free spell, then they get domed for, like, I think 5 damage.
Ooh.
So attacking with his 1/1 there very valiantly. And the Burn player does not block.
Now, is there a reason that he's running that instead of Cyclonic Rift, or is it just you have a PC in your sideboard that attacks multiple decks?
Are you aware of what Cyclonic Rift does?
Yeah, isn't that the 2 damage hasty boy?
Cyclonic Rift is 1 in a blue, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, with overload of 5 in a blue, I think it is.
All right, so what's the one that's 1 red, deals 2 damage? It's the enchantment.
I know what you're talking
it's
about.
From, like,
I can't.
Tempest or something
Yeah.
like that.
This
But
costs less.
it's been reprinted. Oh, that costs less. Okay,
Yeah. 3 drops are quite a mighty
Yeah.
ask in Burn.
If it's 2, that's cheaper. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's like a fiery inferno thing.
We have a Goblin Guide added to the table, and did he suspend that Rift Bolt? It looks like.
It looks like it, but
Didn't put a counter on it. But there he goes.
now
he
he's
heard
just
us.
aiming to literally kill him. That's, I guess, a win
So,
condition.
That he's attacking right now with a 1/1 and a 2/2.
Yep.
Both have protection from red, which is pretty good. So just like, I'm just gonna get you Bundy creatures.
Yep. Now, Death doesn't normally run life gain, though, right? So their life total isn't infinity.
So what we see just
can
happen
die
there,
from here.
Kenny cast a Solitude,
Yeah.
which goes against Roiling Vortex saying, hey, you can't do that. Otherwise, you're going to take 5. So Kenny took 5. He's going to Ephemerate the Solitude. So that is going to, for the price of 5 life and his Ephemerate, he's going to get rid of both the Goblin Guide and the Monastery Swift Spear on Shane's side. And they do not, Shane does not gain the life because Roiling Vortex says players can't gain life.
Yeah. But how much Death doesn't run a lot of life gain
Death and
anyway,
taxes?
right?
No, they don't.
Yeah, that's for somebody else.
So what we see here, casting the Rift Bolt off Suspend triggers Roiling Vortex on Shane. So he got domed by his own card. And then he targeted, I'm not entirely sure what he targeted, but Kenny decided he didn't want it to be targeted, so he sacrificed the Burnington Forge Tender to prevent that damage.
Yep.
And then, because he didn't want that damage prevented, Shane, he cast the adventure side of Bone Crusher Giant, it looks like. So that says damage can't be prevented.
4 life against Burn is an absolutely horrifying position
He's
to be
on
in.
his toes right now, but Burn's tapped out.
Yep.
He gets a turn.
Yep.
He's going to attack with a Solitude. So that's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's at 9. It's not great.
What you got, Kenny? What
So
you
he's going
got?
to put him to 1 because the Roiling Vortex. No, players can't gain life. What is Kenny doing?
Yeah. All right, we gotta. Wait. Can the dude? I mean, if he's
Roiling Vortex says players can't gain life. I am 90% sure, and that Solitude does have life blink, but that counts as gaining life.
Yeah. Okay.
But it looks like it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah, he still lost, but
It's fine. It didn't end up mattering, but that might have been a minor inconsistency with their for perfect legality.
Vortex, MTG. I assume you're right that it is life can't be gained. That's pretty common.
Does it not have a life gain clause?
No, you have to pay red for it.
Oh.
Oh, you have to pay red
You have
for it.
So it does not say players can't gain life. It says pay red. Players can't gain life this turn. That is what happened.
That's different. That's different.
Shane tapped out of red, and so Kenny could gain life with impunity.
This is gonna make me crazy now. There's some kind of. All right, wait. Let's see. Scryfall, help me.
Oh, going in Scryfall, trying to search for the
this,
card text.
This enchantment. What is it? Which one is it?
All right, going to game 3. We have Kenny on the play. He picked up game 1, lost game 2, so game 3 is going to be on the play. I'm sure he's hoping for another Thalia here. Did not find it, going straight down to 6.
I'm just impressed that Byrne pulled it back against a bunch of pro red stuff.
Right? That
just go to the face.
You can bring in all the sideboard cards you want, but sometimes their game plan is just good enough.
I mean, like that game really fell apart very, very quickly.
Yeah.
That was very impressive. So you've never played against Shane before, right?
I feel like I've seen him around.
Okay.
I didn't remember his name until we got his slip of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear from these guys after the fact, if they're willing to come by, like, you know, what their gameplay is like. Yeah. What they're looking for. Here we go, Mulligan. Yeah.
Aether Vial on turn 1 out of Death and Taxes. That's exactly what they want to be seeing.
What do they vial at?
They're creatures. They're a creature deck.
Well, do they limit it at anything? Like, do they stop at 2 or 3?
I have seen Kenny tick it up to 3 consistently.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him go higher than that, but I'm not sure. So,
like, what are they looking for it for?
it's just a mana accelerant. The deck is playing fair creatures, so it wants to get them out faster.
Yeah.
So that Rift Bolt's going to hit his face, Kenny's face, and he's not going to sacrifice his Forge Tender. He's going to save that for a more impactful burn spell.
Yeah, no, we still got that.
Although I am surprised that unless Kenny has another 1-drop in hand, what he could have done is just kept that Forge Tender in hand and tap the Aether Vial to bluff something else. Looks like he has something else though. A Giver of Runes. That's going to be very good.
Oh boy.
Well, might it be very good? He had 2 of them last game and he didn't win. Oh, look at this. Kenny is on 1 land. I didn't notice that. He has not found a second land drop. So this is why they keep Aether Vial.
Yeah.
So they can cast. They can get their spells.
Absolutely.
He is going to pass the turn after hitting Shane for 1. Going to keep that Aether Vial up, but he only has the 1 land. It's going to look a little bit, little sus, as they say.
Because Aether Vial, because once you ticked it up to a certain point, it stops being as useful, right? It's only the CMC of exactly the number of counters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to match the number of counters on it. So you can use it just to curve out really well when you don't have enough lands, but that means that, for example, if you have a bunch of 2-drops and you wanted to put a 3-drop into play, you only get to go that direction once.
Yeah.
And you can't put any 2-drops into play with it.
Oh no.
Is that another Roiling? Or
That's another Rift Bolt. That's another Rift Bolt.
Well,
I mean, Kenny's down to 13 life already, and he doesn't seem to be having a lot of luck advancing his game board. He's got a bunch of 1/1s.
Got a Cauldron complete off of Stoneforge Mystic. So the problem is he can't activate Stoneforge Mystic without a land.
Oh. Yeah, he's in trouble right now.
Well, I would never count Kenny out. He can pull out some wins. We'll see.
What land is that he's running around?
He is going to tick up the Aether Vial to 3. So that land is part of... He found the second land.
Oh boy, oh boy.
He did not choose to activate the Stoneforge Mystic to put in the Cauldron. That second land is Horizon Canopy, which notably does damage to the user.
Yep.
So he's going to have to think carefully about... That is perhaps the worst lane he could have found in this matchup. Skull Crack. 3 damage to the face. 3 damage on upkeep from Rift Bolt. Oh, don't draw it. He drew. That's not great. Oh, they're just going to play through it. Who cares about a little out-of-order sequencing?
Hey, this is not like high-level ELO stuff.
He did cast that spell. He really should have not drawn first, but they're going to move past it. So he tried to prevent the damage to Rift Bolt. He is going to tap Aether Vial. Oh, so he tried to prevent the damage from Rift Bolt. Bone Crusher Giant's Stomp ability
prevents
that
from
prevention
happening. Yep.
And now before the prevention of the prevention, he is trying to. Oh, I see. The opposition agent, which is what he vialed in, brought back the Burnington Fortender.
Oh my god.
He has enough burn. He just gets there.
Oh
Looks
my
like
god.
Shane Karobi
Oh my
is
god.
victorious.
That was a hell of a performance.
Kenneth looks puzzled, as if she's not quite sure how that happened.
What happened? He had great solutions on the board, but every single time it was just creatures that wouldn't die but didn't apply enough pressure, and then he just got burned out.
And if you have all protection, sometimes you don't have enough.
Yeah.
A good offense is the best defense. Is that the old saying?
Yeah. I was really impressed by just the effective stomp there, because I don't like. In Limited, you generally don't interact with damage prevention being canceled and protection.
Yeah, prevent the prevention.
Right, like that never comes up in Limited, but that's really cool. That makes me interested in doing like an invasion set block.
All right,
everybody. So that was round 1 here at the Gathering Place for our Modern tournament. We're going to be back with our second game at some point in. Do we have a time on that?
We don't have a specific time. We could ask for the
It'll
organizers.
probably be 20, 25 minutes
20
is what it
minutes.
looks like. Yeah.
That was a quick match, a good one, but a quick one.
Really great one. Do we want to see if the players want to come talk?
That is up to our producer. You want to send one of the players over us? Maybe the winner would be the kindest.
Yeah, I mean, if either of them want to come up here, then I'm happy to give them a mic. Like, just have their thoughts on the match. Because Kenneth at least looked confused.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to break. Thank you very much, and join us back here shortly.
Take care. Modern tournament. We've done round 1 and we're off to round 2, and we have Joshua packing a Rakdos mid-range deck against Tessa with Zoo. I'm Walker and we have Isaac over here, and we'll see what we're looking at.
See what we have.
What do you think about Rakdos mid-range versus Zoo?
So I'm still not entirely sure what Rakdos mid-range is. My guess is it's Scam, because we see Undying Malice here.
Yeah, I see
But
that.
he didn't write Scam. He wrote Rakdos mid-range, so he might just be kind of thumbing his nose at us. Speaking of that, he is going to go and take a mulligan. Joshua on our right here on Rakdos mid-ranger's Scam. He's going down to 6 cards. Tessa, we don't know who's going first, so we'll see if she's keeping her hand. Tessa's on Zoo. Tribal Zoo, it looks like, specifically.
Oh, wow. Scion of Draco.
Scion of Draco's an all-star. It's
Yeah, very cool, very cool. I remember Zoo as like Curd Ape and the Naya green 1/1. I assume those are still core.
great. Naya Green 1/1, yes, that is...
It's
a cat.
Yeah, Nikotl.
Wild Nicottle.
Wild Nikotl.
It's a
yeah.
wild Nikotl.
Yeah, it's a wild Nikotl.
All right, we have both players keeping. It looks like Tessa kept her 7. Joshua's down on 6. You got a Bloodstained Mire.
All right.
And a Thoughtseize or a Ragavan. Those are basically the only 2 turn 1 non-scam plays. We'll see if he has a scam. Thoughtseize.
Yep. I love seeing like people who manipulate cards just use them. Like they do
Yeah.
great textural elements there.
Tessa has she has a few foils in hand. This looks
Dang.
like a pet deck almost. That plate is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks like that Windswept Teeth and Steam Vents are also quite pretty. So she is just gonna play a fetch land and say pass.
Oh, is this a new like convention for displaying information?
She's being very kind here.
She's being very kind.
Not making Joshua write cards down. She's also being kind to us. The viewer.
Yeah.
Is that a Delphi Voidwalker?
That's 10 points in my book. 10 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, it's a very kind thing. Don't make your opponent write it down. Just treat them with the courtesy to believe that they would write it down. Often. So what I'll do is I will, if they go to write it down, I'll say, oh no, I'll leave it revealed. I'll play like Tessa's playing right here and be kind. But if they were just like, sure, whatever, I'll just pick up my hand.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't want to know anyway? Sure.
Yeah.
We'll just keep going like this. But Joshua, I played against him. He cares. He would write it down.
Yeah. That's clever. It's also a great visual representation of what you do in a digital
it's good.
format.
Always. So
She's playing with a
companion.
A companion. Oh
Yeah,
my
you know that
god. Yeah, I remember companions and
You know that
the
companion.
nerf. This is the one that's like odd cost cards.
No, this is Gigantha something.
So it's one.
You can't
color?
have more than one pip
More than one pip.
of the same
More than
type
one pip.
in your casting cost.
Right.
So that Dolphy Voidwalker, which costs black, is forbidden in a Gigantha deck.
Okay.
But something like Orcish Bowmasters, which is 1 in a black, would
Yeah.
not be forbidden.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I saw a companion. Are they constant in Modern?
They're old friend we have.
Yeah.
They're not super prevalent, but they're not unheard of. So we
Like-
see from Tessa here, I can't remember the name of that card, but it is a X3, I believe, where X is the number of basic land types you control. And she has played an Andatha Triome and a Steam Vents, which means she has all 5 basic land types.
Oh, boy.
And can play this card.
Oh boy.
So in hand, she's still, that we know about, Tribal Flames, Leyline Binding, and Plains.
I mean, this looks like an entirely different zoo deck from what I'm used to. I'm used
It's
to
very different.
Yeah, it's
So
very
this
different.
deck, we would expect to see some numbers of Stubborn Denial, which is a very powerful card. A lot of your creatures cost more, or have power more than 4, so Stubborn Denial is straight up negate for a
Yep.
single blue mana.
Yep. So Rakdos mid-range. So far, we've seen what's this right here?
So that's a Dothy
That's a
Voidwalker.
Void-
That's kind of a
Yeah.
pre-sideboarded good card in
Yeah.
this deck. Is not super effective versus Tessa on her Zoo build, but it's gonna keep playing. It has Shadow.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know what Shadow is?
Yeah, that's Tempest stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Shadow is another flying alike where it's an evasion. You can't block unless you have it. And you can't.
They exist in another plane.
Yeah.
Another plane of existence entirely. They can't even block like non-shadow creatures.
And then it also, that specific card, Dothy Voidwalker, says that exiled cards get exiled under Dothy Voidwalker, and you can cast them for some. There's think you sacrifice the Voidwalker and you can cast one of those
Cast
cards.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's
Is
really,
it cast or play?
I'm pretty sure it's cast.
Okay.
All right. Joshua's evoking a Fury here. That's going to kill, was it an Nishobi Brawler?
Mm-hmm. What's this this non-basic here?
That looks like...
I can try to zoom in.
I don't know what that is. That might be the one that says tap to pay some mana, tap, draw a card, and then lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Is that Castle Event? I don't know. I think it's that card. It's a black land that says you can tap to draw a card and then lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand.
It's always interesting to me to see players in Modern utilizing these sorts of spell lands, because of course they're like always utilitarian, very useful and limited.
How does he have one of her cards?
But this doesn't tap for
Oh,
colors.
remember what I was saying about you get to cast the cards?
Oh,
he just
he's
sacrificed
doing it.
that, and he now has a 3/3.
He's doing it.
Because another thing about Shadow, it can't block non-Shadow creatures. It's not
Yeah.
like flying where flying creatures can block ground creatures.
Yep.
Shadow, it's more what they call high flying, where you can only block creatures that share that ability.
They exist in an alternate plane of reality due to the presence of the Wrathy stronghold converting the land. What was the name of that plane? Before it fused with Dominaria. The plane of Wrath, was it just Wrath?
You're going to have to do this one on your own. I'm not very familiar with Magic lore.
Oh, all right. So, once upon a time, I'm sure you're familiar with Dominaria, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Dominaria, the main plane of existence, and then you have Yawgmoth off in Phyrexia. But Yawgmoth knew that at some point...
Oh, it was only a 2/3, not a 3/3.
Oh, okay, all right. Yawgmoth knew that at some point there was like an astral convergence, and if he made another planet, it could fuse with
Planet Wrath.
Dominaria.
We have
Is
our
it Wrath?
producer.
It's
Yep.
Wrath? All right, good. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the Wrathy stronghold.
Thank you to our producer for some quick Googling there.
Quick Googling. Oh my God, you can Google stuff? No. You gotta just figure it out on your own. I like this dude. This is a heck of a card. The domain brawling Nishoba. This is really crazy for Zoo, honestly. Is this what Zoo looks like now?
This is pretty stock Zoo. So
Jeez.
That is correct. It's Nishoba Brawler.
Nishoba
It's the
Brawler,
1 and a
yeah.
green for power equal the number of basic land types and 3 toughness.
Yeah.
And a Ragavan to go along with it. Both decks are playing Ragavan here.
Yeah.
We'll see how long it survives.
Have there been any cards that you think printed recently have had a negative impact? Oh my God, Jesus.
And that's Joshua
Christ.
conceding, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Joshua conceding.
Tessa
Wow.
had too many good cards.
Yep.
So Joshua on our left here, Tessa on our right. The Gathering Place, some Wednesday Night Modern. We are going to game 2. My guess is that Joshua will be on the play. We'll see if he follows the convention of ages.
I can't remember the last time I would want to be on the draw, right? It's one of those things where if you have like 2 really, really controlling decks that do nothing, then you're on the draw. But like Invasions, Planescape, Apocalypse, like what? Then you're just drawing an extra card as your mana fixing. Like
I had one enterprising Titan player who actually happens to be sitting behind me right now. We'll see if he overhears this conversation. Who effectively, as far as I can tell, was out of pricing for the tournament anyway. I just wanted to be nice and concede, but he wanted to do it on his terms. And so he started off as like, all right, I won the die roll, you can go first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, you can go first. I'm like, I know what deck you're playing, and it's not one that cares about going first. I never actually thought to ask about his record.
Yeah.
But he was just doing dumb stuff the whole thing, and he actually ended up picking up one of the games. So game 2, he presents 75 cards out of 60.
What?
This absolute joker. So you can do it for the lulz. there's that.
Yeah, you can show up. Has anyone ever played Battle of Wits here?
No, not yet.
Is it like... So Battle of Wits, for those of you guys watching at home, it lets you win the game, but you need 200 cards in your library?
Yes, a Battle of Wits, 3 blue at the beginning of your upkeep. If your library has 200 or more cards, you win the game. Coveted words, but highly won.
But Magic the Gathering is one of these games where you do have to physically be able to shuffle the deck on your own. And that is one of those things that you can do with a Wits deck, but not with the kinds of Wits decks that my friends would play at home.
Yeah.
Not when it came out in
So that
Torment
archetype
or whatever.
is more prevalent in Magic Online.
Yeah.
There, because you don't have to shuffle, you can just click and you get a card.
Yep.
It works a lot better.
Yeah.
And so you play a lot of tutors to make your consistency really good. Yeah.
Better.
Going
I don't
back
know
to
about
the
really
game.
good. Better. So what do you think Jugantha is here for? Just...
Jugantha is here because she can be.
You just can
or
be?
Is Jugantha a she? All right.
I don't know.
Tessa is still declaring Jugantha as a companion. That's where she picked it up and pointed at it again. You have to do it every game. And that's her doing it this game.
So was Modern like formatted around companions when they first came out?
No, companions.
Because when they first came out, they didn't cost the 2. They were just a bullshit free card.
I was not playing during that time frame.
Okay.
So here we have a Blood Crypt into or is that a Blackcleave Cliffs? Because he didn't
That looks like
pay life for it.
that
So
looks like
it must be a
Blackcleave
Blackcleave
Cliffs,
Cliffs. Expedition Blackcleave Cliffs. Played a Ragavan. Tessa has no response, no lightning bolts or anything to kill that Ragavan. It's going to connect. She did play a fetch land, so she's up for Domain on turn 2, which is what the deck is designed to do. Oh, she's fetching a response. Probably just doesn't want to lose that land. Oh, no, she has the bolt.
Ooh.
I guess make him actually attack first.
Yeah. I love
And he
it.
has another one.
Oh my god.
Doesn't matter if they're legendary if they kill the first one.
How much removal is Naya generally running these days?
So they're running 4 Leyline Bindings. I would be surprised if they're running fewer than 4 bolts.
Okay.
I believe Tribal Flames can target anything, but
Yes.
they generally target your face.
Yeah, Tribal Flames can be anything.
But they really want it for 5 damage to the face.
Yeah, a 2-mana lava axe. That's living the dream
Pretty
right
good.
there.
Verdant Catacombs for that Endotha Triumph to
Good
complete
lord.
domain.
Good lord.
Notice she has to play. Oh no, okay. Yeah, her fetch land. So Neshoba Brawler back
Yep.
again. All star
Back
from
again.
game 1. You have to be very careful with your land base in a domain deck. So she's gonna have to fetch a Shockland here rather than finishing her domain. She is missing black right now.
Yep.
So Leyline Binding costs 2. That Neshoba Brawler is only a 4/3.
Yep.
So you have to be careful, and you have to be very intentional. Hopefully she has another land here to turn that black part on, and then she will be able to get the full value out of her cards. Both players shuffling, going back to Joshua's turn.
I love this Zoo deck here. This is really interesting for me just because, again, coming from a very different place. But Rakdos Midrange, the last time when I think of Rakdos Midrange, I think of Standard with, like, Cauldron and Cat and just nonsense.
Yep.
I assume
Fable the
it's-
Mirror Breaker here.
Fable the Mirror Breaker. Okay.
Gets his little 2/2 Goblin.
Yep.
That blocks pretty well with the Ragavans on that Neshoba Brawler. I don't know if that's what Joshua has in mind, but that could be a way. It would be not a 2-for-1 necessarily because the Goblin kind of came for free.
I mean, a Saga represents incremental value and therefore value over a longer game. But of course, Naya, because they're playing with these domain cards, they're also going to be taking advantage of
Naya
the
does not
longer
want a long game.
Well, they have tools. They have tools to utilize their. In the event that you have a turn 8 kill.
Rest in peace.
With Tribal Flames, it's not the end of the world.
So, rest in peace. 2 lines of text. When it comes into play, exile all graveyards. Straight up, no graveyards. And then also, if a card would be put into the graveyard, exile it instead. So no graveyards now or forever. Rest in peace. So we did not see this part of Joshua's Rakdos mid-range deck last game. But there are, Fury and Grief are the two big cards here that give the deck its more common title of Scam, where you evoke the creature, and then before it dies, you cast something like Undying Malice, which gives it Undying, funnily enough, and says when it dies, bring it back with a 1/1 counter.
+1/+1.
So
yeah.
you scam your way into having a double effect on here. There's Stubborn Denial,
Whoa.
remember? And Joshua's going to have to read that card. It's not the most common card, but it is an all-star in this deck. So that Terminate is not going to resolve. He wants to get in there with his Ragavan and his Goblin token, but he is not going to. They're going to go back to Tessa's turn.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see how they play this out. Do you remember when Rest in Peace was printed for the first time?
I joined after Rest in Peace.
You joined after Rest in Peace? How long have you been playing?
Since Khans of Tarkir.
Oh, that's exciting. I discovered a pack of Khans of Tarkir had been open in my Dominant Species box. There was a flooded strand in there. But that was originally
for it.
originally trade. I don't trade Magic cards. I trade for beer. But that was originally
Current
played
score
in
is 12
Odyssey.
to 8, apparently.
Odyssey,
Our
I
life totals
think.
are not updated properly. 8.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, our producer was not totally clear on the things. 12 to 18, so the life totals are correct.
Yeah, you just updated it.
So what's happening here? Getting rid of some cards. But why?
So you got Orcish Bowmasters. That's from the Lord of the Rings game.
It is.
Which one? What does that do?
It's a 1/1 for 1 and a black. And when it enters or when your opponent draws their second or more card each turn, so beyond the first one,
Yeah.
it deals 1 damage to any target.
Oh.
And you amass Orcs 1, which for our listeners at home
Sure.
means that either you create an Orc and put a 1/1 counter on it, or you just put a 1/1 counter on the Orc, whichever one is easier. So
You have to. You can
you have to
only
make the Orc the
create
first
one.
time, and then it just grows from there
Yeah,
on
you
out.
can only create an army in the event that you don't already have one.
Exactly.
But,
so
hey.
Orcish Bowmaster's pretty good card.
Yeah. Free creatures are always nice. What is this?
Is that a Sign of Draco? Looks like there's 2 Sign of Dracos there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's.
So
a
the
sign
one
of
on the
Draco.
top is definitely a Sign of Draco. We think
Yeah.
the one on the bottom is a Sign as well, but it's going to get eaten by a Fury. Of course, if you ever have a choice between 2 of the same card, always go for the prettier one.
Yeah.
It's just a general rule
Yeah.
to live
Good
by.
value. Good value eliminating high quality art.
Yes, deal mental damage to your opponent by making them put away their foil cards.
So what do we see here on Rakdos Midrange in terms of the game? Is it just resource denial and then eventually overwhelm the opponent?
Rakdos Midrange is appropriately
scam.
titled the Midrange
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah.
It does try to scam you out in a couple early turns, but that didn't happen here, so they're just going to be playing a fair game.
Yeah.
And, well, I say fair loosely. Joshua here is going to start replicating his Fury every turn.
Excellent.
With his Reflection of the Mirror Breaker, which is pretty
Excellent.
good. That's going to kill anything that Tessa has to offer, except a Territorial Kabu is 5 toughness if you have full domain. It looks like she does have that black source there. We have, it looks like, a Judge Call, or they might resolve it themselves.
Oh. What do you think? Oh,
They resolved it.
All right. Resolve
Tessa
it.
did not want to play through Fury every turn for 1 mana.
Yeah, that's
Pretty good.
reasonable. That's pretty reasonable.
So that makes us 1-1. Tessa will be going first in the final round of this final game of this match.
I think Fury was originally printed in Lorwyn because they did the original run of.
Fury was printed in Modern Horizons 2.
Was it not? Is that not a reprint from Lorwyn block?
So, no, it was
Because
not.
they did pull some stuff forward. Like they
Lorwyn was
reprinted-
already in Modern.
They reprinted some. Odyssey isn't in Modern.
Odyssey was not. You said
Yeah.
Lorwyn.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Odyssey. No, original 5 Odyssey was Anger, Wonder.
Those are from the graveyard. So
yeah.
if they're in your graveyard, then they
It's
give
a
creatures
different
effects.
incarnation.
Yeah.
This is So this is from the same block as Vigor. No,
Vigor, yeah, would be Wonder, Vigor.
Vigor, Wonder.
Anger is the red one.
Anger's the red one.
I don't know the black
Yeah.
one. Or the white one.
I-
Oh, what one is No, blue is Wonder.
Blue is Wonder. Blue is Wonder, which let you gain flying. I
Yeah,
don't-
Wonder is sees play in Modern Dredge, actually. Or,
Wonder's really cool.
I mean, it's not Dredge
Really
or Crabvine. I've played against it. We have a couple Crabvine players here in the local meta.
Cool. Excellent.
They
What
play
does-
Wonder.
what does Modern Dredge look like?
Modern Dredge, we don't have Golgari Gravetroll anymore, so Stinkweed Imp is the biggest Dredger at 5.
Okay.
And then we have a 4, a 3, and I think we have a 1 as well. That Dark Blast, is that Dredge 1 or Dredge 2?
Yes, that's.
it's just Dredge 1.
No, that's. I think that's 2. I think Dark Blast is
Is it
2.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a few different Dredgers in here, and then they play the hard cards to deal with. I'm not going to be able to name all of them, but there's Prized Amalgam, which I can name.
Yep.
That's a 3/3 that comes back if you put a Narcomoeba into play. There's Creeping Chill,
Yep.
which is a 4-mana spell that you never cast, but if you has a Narcomoeba trigger. If you put it into play from your, if it gets milled over from your graveyard, from your library into your graveyard, then
You
you
can
cast
yeah.
it, and it deals. It's a light lightning helix. It deals 3 to them, and you gain 3.
That's cool. That's
pretty
cool.
good.
That's cool.
And then they have another card that when you mill over that Creeping Chill, when you gain 3 life in the turn, I think it is. It's a zombie or something.
Yeah.
That comes back. Similar to Prized Amalgam, except it's a 3/1, not a 3/3.
So we're here for game 3 now.
Yes.
This is wild. This has been a really great match so far. I don't really know who I'm like air quotes rooting for. I'm rooting for a good game of Magic, I
Can you have them
guess.
turn the brightness down on their phone?
Oh yeah, brightness down on the phone would be helpful because it's
Just
a
so we
little.
can see those life totals.
I can see the edge of a 2.
Thanks.
Donnie boy.
Can we get 2 more sours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Look at him. He looks
So,
handsome.
we have
He's
Joshua
got a
going down to
nice
6
little
here.
cat jacket.
Tessa, I believe, capped 7. Land and go for each of them. Tessa's just going to grab a tri-land here, I bet, to get her domain online. And Joshua's going to get that life equity on playing a tapped shock land. Gets a good land in turn 1, but don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. I love the tri-lands just like conceptually because I
Really?
love cycling on lands. It plays well. Like from a limited perspective, it plays really well.
From a limited perspective, I can see it playing
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
What rarity are the tri-lands?
They're rare.
Are they rare? So they're not
unfortunately.
super common.
Yeah, they're not super common. I don't know how expensive.
Oh,
they
she's
are
just got to
these
get
days.
Steam Vents. She
Ooh.
doesn't want to get that tri-land. She needs that off color. Maybe she has the Endotha Triome in hand.
Yeah, that would make sense actually.
Don't you just love when you hand your deck to your opponent and they hand it back to you in the worst way and you have to like contort your hands like Tessa just did there and be like, no, I want it over here.
You're disrupting my OCD.
Breeding
All right.
pool, so she has
Yep.
3 out of 5.
Yeah. Thanks, young fella.
Wonderful barkeep here, Donnie, bringing us fresh drinks to go here. Oh, okay,
Oh,
this
boy.
is why. So
Yeah,
Tessa,
they're flying.
I'm gonna describe what we have
Yeah,
here.
we got a Ragavan and a Wild Nicatl. I actually know the art for those.
Yeah, they're both pretty good. That Wild Nicatl is a little small right now, only a 2/2, but that Wild Nicatl will grow as soon as Tessa plays the Plains.
Oh, yeah.
We just had Joshua there confirming the toughness of that thing.
Yep.
Not that it matters. He only does damage in increments of 3 or 4.
Ooh. All right. So, yep.
Oh, there's an Orcish Bowmaster.
It has Flash, too.
It does have Flash.
Oh, snap. I feel like I missed out not playing as much of the Lord of the Rings stuff. Those cards look good. Good.
Orcish Bowmaster is a hell of a card.
Yeah. So he's blocking the Ragavan here.
Yeah, no, he's going to deal 1 damage to that Ragavan and a Mass Orcs 1 if he's
Gotcha.
feeling ambitious and doesn't believe that Tessa has removal, which I'm guessing she probably does. But if she didn't, he could double block. No.
He could, if he
There's a
double
land in
blocks, yeah,
play.
she's just
She
going to
has-
crack the
okay, she has the
mesa.
effect in play, so no, he's
the
not going to
mesa.
block.
Yep.
Or he's going to
He's going to chump.
save some damage, but he's going to chump.
Yeah.
Because remember, if you don't have the Orc in play, you just make
You
another
just
one.
make another
It's a
one.
Mass Orcs
Yep.
1.
Yep. Is that the most common amass card in Modern?
It's the first one I've seen play regularly.
Yeah. Amass has been around for a long time, but I love it. You get 2 creatures for 1, and one of them has +1/+1 counters on it for proliferation.
Pretty good.
What can you do?
Oh, my favorite deck, Enchantress, plays a card called Solemnity, which says counters can't be put on creatures.
Ooh. That's
Pretty good.
Rude. That's rude.
It's there for a combo in the Enchantress deck, actually, but it's pretty good, like, incidentally, against Orcish Bowmaster. It's good against Yawgmoth that tries to put -1/-1 counters on their creatures to get them back. It's good against Urza's Saga because they can't advance their Saga triggers.
Yeah.
Or because it's not just creatures, it's permanents or something.
It's permanents, yeah.
So it's pretty good.
That's also really good against Planeswalkers.
I think it doesn't count Planeswalkers. I would have to double check the card.
Okay.
So we got our Doth the Triumph. It is indeed going to be for 3 that attack there. Our life totals can't be up to date, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're at 16 to 20.
No, he blocked.
He blocked.
Oh, so
he chumped.
So now he's at 19. Yep.
Yep. That makes sense. Boy, he's playing an awful lot of basic swamps, which is there a hate in Zoo in Tessa's deck?
Rakdos Midrange is a Blood Moon deck.
Oh.
Additionally, the Zoo deck is a domain deck, so Blood Moon's pretty good against it.
Blood Moon is very
we're
strong.
We're going to see Joshua go for Fable of Mirror here, which is going to get Stubborn Denialed, which has another mode. So if you don't control a creature with power 4 or greater, then it just counters it unless they pay 1. Unfortunately, Josh decided to play it with only 3 mana available, and thus that was as good as straight up counter.
Yeah. We haven't seen a Blood Moon once yet, so
he had it in the first hand he mulliganed.
Oh man.
But yeah, we have not seen it in play yet.
Yeah. Blood Moon, I remember when that was too strong, so they reprinted it as a creature, Magus of the Moon.
Yes.
Which was like a way to make it more interactable with removal.
See, there's Blood Moon right there.
Yep, there it is.
Top of his library.
Yep, there it is.
Plays the basic Mountain too. So another thing, he is also just a 2-color deck. 2-color decks get to play a lot more basics than most decks. Yeah. So even if he didn't have Blood Moon to play around, consider that Mountain doesn't help him against Blood Moon.
I love that. I love that design space. I love that design space.
Hard cast. Thoughtseize you, make a 3/2.
It's like people forget that if your mana is good, a basic land comes into play untapped and has no downside.
Exactly. And
no downside?
it can't be the Sejude.
That's amazing.
So he's going to take the Tribal Flames. So that Grief is probably going to die sooner rather than later with 2 removal spells in hand. But it's still going to take away that Tribal Flames.
That's card advantage, right? It's something.
So at 13 to 16, we have Joshua a little bit lower in life total, but not too far.
Now, this game is turning out to be a much more resource management heavy style of game that you said should favor Rakdos, right? You think that generally Naya wants to play a faster game?
Yeah, Rakdos tends to have more options here. Naya's just going to, trying to get this, whatchamacallit, a Wild Macottle in every turn, and it's going to meet with Terminate here.
Yep.
They really need to have a creature in play. Unless she has another one here, that's going to be really bad for her, and it's going to... Oh, she's going to put Giathi on hand. Can we cast that next turn? No. Yeah, maybe next turn if she draws another land, although I don't think she wants to draw another land.
Did we ever figure out what that is?
By text, not by name.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to have production ask what that non-basic swamp there that Joshua just played is.
Because, I mean, it's always interesting to see one color non-basics show up in Modern.
They have to be pretty good if they're going to lost a lot of the basic land.
Yep. If they're doing something important.
Our producer can't see it again.
Oh.
But yeah, that land does say that it draws cards. If he is Hellbent, it's pretty good because it just is 1 life per. If he's not Hellbent, then he has to pay for every one he has. Another gorgeous basic land from Tessa. She's going to play Gigantha. She did draw that extra land. So it's a 4/5. It's not nothing. It also taps for mana. It blocks Ragavan real well.
That's a free card.
Rakdos kind of flooding out here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
Holy
lands in
cow.
play. That's more than he wants. I believe this
That's like
deck
a
plays
third of
20.
his deck. Yes.
If not, I've seen some lists play 19.
That's magic. Yep. That's like on a fundamental like heuristic level. That's why I like the tri-lands. Cycling 2, cycling 3, throw that on anything. It doesn't matter. You can fit so many cards in this bad boy.
Yep. We have a side of Draco, another threat from Tesla. It is pretty threat dense.
Yep.
The deck's pretty much just threats and counter magic.
Good lord.
Gonna attack with Gigant. They don't need that mana.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt your face. Lightning bolt your face. And that's going to be game. That was
man.
Game 3?
That was game 3. That was game 3.
Tessa takes it down.
Tessa takes it. Oh my god. And of course, because we're going to be seeing
Nervous,
table
she says.
1 every time, we might see her again. It's possible.
We could.
She could be 2-0
Our
now.
producer might try and give us more variety.
Yeah.
Or we might just see her again. And she acquitted herself.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the top table again, even if it's familiar players. You want to do it?
All right, we're back here. That was another great round. We're going to have another break, see some more wonderful The Gathering Place graphics. Join us back for our next round here.
Oh, do we have a
next 20
time?
minutes or so.
Yeah, next 20 minutes or so. Yep.
We have 15 minutes left in the timer.
15 minutes left on the
15
timer?
minutes left.
Yeah, so it'll be more like 25 or so, because we want to make sure that the players have opportunity to actually play out those 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. place. Here we are about to resume round 3 of our Modern tournament, where we're going to see Sam playing against Lee, and we have a Karn Amulet Titan against Food Combo. Now, Isaac, you've seen this Karn Amulet in action, right?
I haven't seen it in action. I did talk to Sam a bit ahead of time in the tournament. He told me what he was playing very kindly, because I'm not actually competing against him in the tournament.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty stock Amulet list with Karn the Great Creator filling in some sideboard slots. He said there's no explorations. He cut a land and then something else, but we're going to go see what they're doing. Looks like they're in mulligans right now.
So right now we are seeing 2 players who are 2-0 at the moment in this.
Sam is going to go down to 6.
24 player tournament?
24 player tournament. Both players are 2-0. We are looking at the first table right here. That is the only table we have, but it's also the first one, so it makes up.
You know what? You got some great art on everything.
Look at that smiley face
see this. I
from
love
Lee
to see
McLeod. He definitely knows he's on camera.
Yeah. That's a really great draft format. If you can get somebody to do either just like anything, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
So look,
so Karn is
Lee is keeping
mulliganing.
Lee is keeping his hand. Sam is mulliganing, like you said, Karn player.
Yeah.
Lee's on Food Combo. This looks to be using the new Samwise Gamgee card to make a lot of food. I'm not entirely sure how this deck works, but we're going to find out together. That's the point of this match.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting to see
going down to 5.
Oh. Even with London Mulligan rules, going to 5 is just the end of the world. We'll see. We'll see how the game turns out, but I think, unfortunately, even with London Mulligan rules in effect, mulling to 5 is just brutal.
I wouldn't count Sam out. Titan's a deck so kind of like Tron, where they just say, you know what, we're going to find Tron at all costs, and we'll work from there.
Yep.
Titan can mulligan pretty well. They just need the right cards, and they can get there. Looks like Lee's going to do his opponent the favor of making sure his deck is extra shuffled for a perfect randomization. That was facetiousness for those not paying attention.
I do like the fact, have you guys experienced any problems with London Mulligan in Constructed?
It's been pretty great.
Good.
Well, it is more consistent than the previous Mulligan rules.
It sure is.
Sam's going to put 2 back, and we're going to have a game. It looks like Sam's going first.
Excellent.
Which means he's down effectively another card. Playing that basic forest on turn 1.
4 in hand on turn 1.
They can't, so Amulet can't play a bounce land on turn 1 as much as they would like to, otherwise it would just return back to their hands. They sometimes have to play an underwhelming turn 1 to get that turn 2 set up properly.
But we're not seeing an Amulet immediately.
Not seeing an Amulet, not seeing an Urza's Saga, which would be an Amulet later. That is a Cavern of Souls, presumably naming Beast. That's what Sam likes to do with that.
Okay.
In my experience, Beast covers, or it could be either Beast or Giant, but one of the two. Actually, it's probably Giant, come to think of it, because I didn't play the Beast right away. Beast is the Arboreal Grazer, Giant is the Primeval Titan.
Yep.
There is also Dryad you can name with it. All in all, not its best matchup against Food Combo. It is there pre-sideboarded, as they say.
Yeah.
Fetch a breeding pool, go to his next turn, it's going to play a card.
Now, is Sam still playing Valakut?
I believe Sam is still playing Valakut, though I have not confirmed that. I do not know what card Lee just played. Neither does Sam, apparently, because he's going to read it.
That's always exciting. You see looks like a Simic card here.
Well, it was played up blue-green, so presumably.
Yeah. A brand new Simic card. Mulligan for the combo. So, that's Tim. That's our Timmy boy. Tim Pettinger is in the chat.
Tim Pettinger.
Yeah.
So, Azusa Lost But Seeking played off of one of his combo lands. So, he is going to play 2 bounce lands and pick up his Cavern of Souls in his forest. Now he has 2, 4, 5 mana in play on turn 4. And then turn 5, he's going to have 6 mana in play. That sounds like a Titan to me.
So what do you think he's going to be doing with this guy?
I think he's going to be casting a Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
That's what he likes to do. Yep. He might also draw a card and say go.
Yep.
Because sometimes this deck doesn't draw what it needs.
Yep.
There's an Urza's Saga. I guess we're both playing Urza's Saga decks. So that unknown card triggers there.
We can zoom in, but
Yeah.
other than casting cost,
It looks legendary.
Yeah, it does look legendary. It's a legendary creature of some kind.
Summoner's Pact from Sam. He's not doing that. When is he doing that? Because that's...
He's got the mana to cast to pay for it.
Oh, he played the Cavern of Souls. We missed that part. So now,
Yeah.
he has a 6 mana. He's going to cast a Primeval Titan.
Yep.
He's going to get some lands. They will not untap. He cannot Titan combo him here. That Titan is not attacking this turn. But...
So we haven't
It's like it might be
seen...
a Chitterfang. Our producer just said a Lomus, Crypt Zoologist, and a
Cryptozoologist.
Chitterfang.
Okay.
Those 2 cards.
Okay.
It's like
What is Lonis Cryptozoologist? Do
we
you know that?
are going to stall for time while I look at them on my phone.
Scryfall. For those of you watching at home, there's a great tool for those of you who don't use it. Scryfall is way better than Gatherer. WotC can be mad about that, but Scryfall is phenomenal. They really have a great heuristic when it comes to searching for things, and really, really great language too. You can find anything you want to there.
So Chatterfang, Squirrel General. If one or more tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel tokens are created instead. It also has black.
Oh.
Sacrifice X squirrels. Target creature gets +X -X on the turn. It's removal
That's cool.
and pump in
That's
one.
cool. It's removal, pump, and board presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're seeing again the Primeval Titan out of Amulet of Vigor. We are seeing
What 2 lands
food
did he get?
combo. This is just fascinating.
Food
What
combo.
did
He
he
played a
pick up
Delighted
there?
Halfling there. Looks like that green-white card is the Samwise Gamgee. So
Yep.
Lonis Cryptozoologist says, whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. You can also sacrifice X clues and tap this Lonis to target opponent reveals top X cards of the library, put a non-land permanent with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Onto the battlefield, straight up. So if you sacrifice a bunch of clues, if you sacrifice 60 clues, you can get any card in your deck.
Jesus Christ. This is a really interesting deck.
This is a food combo deck.
Yeah, yeah. I
It looks
really...
like Sam got a couple bounce lands there.
So what, have you seen these decks in action? I obviously
Sam's
this,
deck, yes. This food deck is new to me.
This food deck is very, very new.
People are still riffing off Lord of the Rings stuff.
And he's at 2-0 right now, so it's conceivable.
They're both 2-0.
This guy could win with an unknown deck here. That'd be really cool. So wait, what is he doing with the food?
I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what he's doing with the food. He's got something.
Our producer, with the timely remark, he is eating the food.
He's eating the food.
Sours. Something sour.
The sours?
That's Becca. 2 of them.
Yeah. 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 Thanks, Preston. A few people.
Sorry, just talking to our bartender here.
Yeah.
Keeping the drinks coming. Attacking with Primeval Titan. That gets you a trigger.
I love
He's going
it.
to search his deck. So good Titan players are very careful to not shuffle between various searches.
Yeah.
Because you'll go attack, trigger, find something, search, trigger, and you have to do it again and again and again. So they're very careful, okay, I'm going to shuffle the end of this, but I'm not going to waste a bunch of our time shuffling in between.
Yeah.
It looks like this might only be one shuffle trigger. So Sam's going to go find the best 2 lands in his deck, put them in a battlefield tapped.
This is one of these things that, in a digital format, like Cockatrice, it's not a problem. You just right-click on something and then pull it out, and then it's good to go. But, boy, how much...
He's going to find a Boros Garrison and a Boseiju.
Ooh.
So that's the red-white bounce land and a Boseiju. I'm sure all of people turning into a modern tournament will know.
Yep.
It can blow up an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land.
I love Boros Garrison. I love Karoo lands. I loved seeing them Fantastic cards
pretty
Unlimited.
good.
Fantastic card.
Sam has bounced that Basaja to his hand, so now he has a Basaja online if he thinks he needs it. I don't know if it interrupts his combo. He apparently thinks it does. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten it. He might just snipe that Urza Saga real quick before it gets full value.
I still haven't seen anything fall into place on food combo. I'm still not sure what it
combo.
does.
I'm not quite sure what they're doing.
Yeah, something must be going on because they're 2-0, but they are at 10 life
Court
now.
of Calling for 1? Did I count that right? That is an Academy manufacturer. I think that's a 2. So that says if you would create either a food or a clue or a treasure, create one of each instead. So get extra combo tokens.
Yeah. Does anyone
And Sam is going to say, you should put that Academy manufacturer in your graveyard and go get a land of your choice that has a basic land type off of his very convenient Basaja, you remember, that he just got off that Primeval Titan.
Becca, can you believe what's going on here?
Shout out to Becca, the best bartender at the Gathering Place.
Just riffle shuffle a deck of Modern. Riffle shuffle it.
happens.
No!
That happens.
You
in
mash
Vintage.
shuffle these things. No! Please! For
never
the
got
love
to play
of the
Modern.
cards!
I have Merfolk.
They
Don't
exist
forget.
in real life.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Maybe I won't lend you a deck.
If they're not in sleeves, you can riffle shuffle whatever you want to. But if they're sleeved, you had to put labor into that.
You want to hear something funny? If it was up to me and I would be judged so harshly, I wouldn't play sleeves. So.
You should play the Peasant Cube with us sometime. They're sleeved, but they don't need to be.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Use as coasters.
Yeah.
So that's the official staff recommendation. Do not use sleeves.
Use
just riffle
magic
shuffle
cards
them.
as coasters. That's the official thing here.
This card belongs in a game. Haywire Might from our Lee food combo player could situationally be very good against Amulet. It can snag their Urza Saga. It can snag their eponymous Amulet of Vigor. But neither of those are in play right now. So we're just going to have this Haywire Might sitting in play. Our Lee is getting back his Academy manufacturer with something. And he's going to cast it again, it looks like. And we'll see where he goes from there. Goes on
Oh
the
my
stack.
goodness.
And I believe Sam is out of answers for that. Amulet is not known for playing answers. They are a combo deck. They are looking to kill you, not answer your creatures.
We see a 5-stack of food down there. Is that a 6-stack of clues?
I think that's squirrels.
Is that squirrels? And then, oh my god.
Lots of tokens.
This is insane. When is he swinging?
I don't know that he's winning through swinging.
You don't think he's going to,
I mean, he's
at
only
a certain point, if you have 14 creatures and your opponent has 2.
That is a Cauldron Familiar. That is a sacrifice outlet, I think.
Yeah, Cauldron's Familiar is a really sick card. I remember when that was big in Standard. Cauldron plus Witch's Cauldron, right? Was the combo? And you'd sack the familiar, get a food
14
token, sack the
squirrels
food
there,
token, coming back.
plus 6 squirrels here.
This is a ridiculous number of squirrels.
And
yep, there it
Sam
is.
is like, you know what? That's too many squirrels for me to count. And he
We
has
had
a
a
rule. I've talked to
concession.
Sam. If you ever put more squirrels in play than Sam can count, he will concede straight up. So
What? So Lee concedes there from 20 life.
Sam concedes.
Oh, that was Sam
Sam was at
concede?
10.
Sam concessions.
Sorry.
Okay.
Lee was at 10. Sam was at 20. He hadn't attacked him yet. I presume he found his way towards a combo.
Oh, so our display is just backwards on
No, he did not win through life totals.
Yeah, but we had a concession here, didn't
Yes, Sam conceded,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
we? From 20.
From 20. Life total
From
was
20.
not life totals
Yeah.
were not relevant there
Yeah,
apparently. Sam did not do enough damage beforehand.
Yeah.
And it looks like Lee took it home. We're still not entirely sure how that combo works. General brush strokes, you make a lot of food and you play
Bonus
Cauldron
Cryptozoology
Familiar a lot.
just makes it
Okay,
infinite everything,
you know, here's what
right?
it is.
Yeah.
You play Cauldron Familiar,
Yeah.
which makes food, a clue, and a
When
treasure.
it dies.
You use the treasure to recast it after you sacrifice it, and you get it back with something else. So you get a lot of food, and you just go through there.
A lot of value. That was really
food
interesting.
combo for you.
That was really interesting to see. This is the sort of thing where after a round, I'd love to talk to Lee and see what's going on there.
Yeah, if we could get Lee up here afterwards to kind of explain the thought process of the deck, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah. How many homebrews do you see on average here at the Gathering Place?
Homebrews, we get a fair number. Mac is probably one of the brewiest people we have here. Lee, I haven't actually seen him play a whole lot of different stuff. I would count this food combo as kind of a homegrown type thing, although there might be some other players online playing it.
Yeah.
Not a ton of like brand new decks.
Yeah.
But we get some fairly fun players. I play Enchantress, which isn't the most common.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good format.
Yeah. Like the big thing turning me off about it is just the expense of it. But
I have a deck you can play.
There's some that are a little more affordable.
Affordable. We also, at least this specific location, we have the shop has decks to loan out.
Oh.
Several players have decks to loan out. I have Merfolk on me right now, in addition to my Enchantress deck. I'm not putting this on broadcast for the entire internet, but I will often loan out these decks.
Ooh.
So, there are options aside from dropping $1,000 on a deck to play one night.
Amazing deal here. Who has Lantern Control?
Nobody has Lantern Control.
No, don't say that. Just because it's a miserable play experience for both players doesn't make it less aspirable. I'm also sad to see eggs mostly gone.
All right, we're going to game 2. Sam will be on the play again. It worked so well for him last time, so we're going to try it again.
Incredible.
I don't know if we've resolved mulligans yet. Here's hoping both players get to keep a good 7.
We see here Sam looking at his hand for a very long time.
Sam decides to get rid of it.
Yep.
He's going down to 6. Very disciplined mulligan.
Yep. What are these players looking for when they're mulliganing? Because, like, the mulligan decisions in Constructed are a lot more complicated than they are in Limited. In Limited, it's just you have spells and lands.
So, a good way to think about it, I mean, obviously, there's simple mulligans. All lands or all spells are obviously, you throw them back. But play out the first couple turns in your head and think, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And if what you're doing is nothing, then you should probably mulligan.
Yeah.
And it's generally you just like play out the turns. Get a feel for what they're going to be. It's a little bit different for every deck.
Exactly.
I've never played Amulet as a pilot, so I'm not sure what they're specifically looking for. Oh.
Well, they're ready to go.
So
oh
it
my
looks
God.
like Lee might have won, or Lee might have lost. We might have seen that concession incorrectly because Lee went first.
Crazy.
Birds of Paradise from Sam. No, I'm sorry. We have these backwards. Sam is on the left.
Sam is on the left?
Sam is on the left. So Sam
yeah.
did indeed lose. He's going first. Birds of Paradise from Lee. We had that backwards.
Okay.
So he has right now an Urza Saga in play and a Mycosynth Gardens in play as well, which makes another amulet. So that Urza Saga is going to turn into an amulet. That Mycosynth Garden can copy an amulet.
So what is this is a land that
It's a land that has pay X tap, copy target artifact, CMC X.
Ooh.
So you put into play an amulet and you'll play another land, you're like, I would like to have 2 amulets, please.
Oh my
and then you have
God.
2 amulets.
Oh my God. And of course, because the amulet triggers stack, you can
untap. So one bounce slate makes 4 mana.
Untap, tap. Yeah. Yep. Very powerful.
This deck gets very scary.
Scary.
The more amulets you have in play.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. It's the name of the deck.
Titular card.
It's a titular card. Who would imagine having 4 more copies of it would be good?
There's that Amulet of Vigor.
Mm-hmm. So what's Lee's plan here?
Lee's plan, he already has the Academy Manufacturer in play, which I believe is part of his combo. So he's looking to get his other cards in play, probably his Chitterfang and Lonus.
Yeah.
And make a lot of food.
I mean, we didn't see, outside of clues, we didn't see an absurd number of card draw or card interaction out of Lee. But clues, I guess, with enough of them, that's all you need.
So we see here Sam, he floated a manual from the Urza Saga, used that to activate the Mycosynth Guard, so now he has 2 amulets in play. He's going to use his Pact to search for an Arboreal Grazer. Trigger. He gets 2 untapped triggers on that thing, so he has GGRR floating.
Oh my god.
He is going to cast Arboreal Grazer to have GRR floating, get another land in play, have GGGGRRRR floating, and then he's going to cast a Titan here shortly.
What turn are we on?
This is turn 3.
Turn 3. Boy howdy. Ramp technology is something else.
There's a Primeval Titan.
Yep,
that
there
is
it
a
is.
second pact, our Summoner's Pact. So, just to point out here, if Sam gets the turn back without killing his opponent, he's going to have to pay for 2 pacts or Summoner's Pact triggers, which is 8 mana. So he better win now. Otherwise he will lose.
You can get 8 mana from nowhere. It's doable.
Not with 1 Titan trigger.
Not with 1 Titan trigger. What is
also,
his plan?
Sam has no lands in play. So any bounce lands he puts in, he's going to have to pick up a land. So he put in a Boros Garrison and a Slayer's Stronghold. He's going to give the Titan haste and plus 2/0. He's going to use a Vesuva to copy the Boros Garrison and get a Sunholm Fortress of the Legion and give it double strike. And he's going to hit his face?
No.
Lee for something along the lines of 16 damage.
Oh no. And he's at 15
Lee's at 15.
life.
He cannot block.
Oh my god.
So who cares about Summoner's Pact triggers?
To 20. That's the end.
Going to game 3.
Unbelievable.
Sam will be on the draw.
Unbelievable. That was That's
what
the
Titan
sort
does.
That's what Modern does, right?
Win out of nowhere.
The speed is so fast. If you find what you're looking for, a lot of these decks can just end you immediately. Good lord.
Yeah, careful about putting your guards down. Look at Lee's laughing there. It's like,
Amazing.
I thought I had a chance, but...
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
As soon as Sam played the second Summoner's Pact, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
He doesn't plan on leave this turn.
Are any of the other pacts regularly played in Modern? Like Slaughter Pact?
Slaughter Pact is not seeing a lot of play. Ad Nauseam as a deck used to be the one that played the most pacts. It would play Pact of Negation, of course.
Yep.
And then also it would play Slaughter Pact to get rid of some key creatures. And it would play, so some versions of it play Pacts of Intervention or Intervention Pact, one of the two. I don't remember what it's called. It's the White Pact.
The White Pact.
And it says prevent damage or something like that, which is not relevant. What's relevant is they can cast a spell for free that they can Swan Song, or there's a new card called An Offer You Can't Refuse. That's a Swan Song but better.
Yeah.
And so they'll use it to combo in that way.
That's
but Pact
cool.
of Negation is really the only other one. Belcher also plays that.
Is anybody play Belcher here?
Not here. The only place I've seen Belcher is at the Toy Factory on Saturdays.
Okay.
Great shop. You should go check it out. The Toy Factory in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
But I have not seen anyone other than the Toy Factory play Belcher.
One time I accidentally went to Hillsborough because we ordered barbecue from
From the wrong store?
Yeah, we ordered from the wrong store. But then we ended up out there, and it's cool. It's a great place. It reminds me a lot of Belfont, which means nothing to you.
I have no idea where Belfont is.
It means nothing. It's a quaint, homely place in a good way. In a good way. In a way that feels like home. You know, I gotta give props
Looks
to...
like both players are going to keep their 7s. Or Sam is still deciding. He might still be in the tank over this one.
I mean, it does go active player, passive player. So if you want you want to mull after, you can.
So Sam is. Wait, I have these names confused again. Lee is going to send it back on the right.
Yeah, Lee is on the right.
Sam is on the left with a Death Hunter T-shirt. Great shirt. I've complimented him on it before.
Also,
and he's going to keep his 7-card hand.
The best Birds of
He is
Birds
also
Paradise.
playing a Manadork playmat from Star City Games.
Great. Man, you don't like Manadorks?
Manadorks are great. I love Manadorks.
I love fantastic. Dies to removal. You can't play anything that dies to removal.
Everything dies to removal.
No, you can't play anything that dies to removal.
If they kill your bird, they can't kill your threat.
Only play enchantments and other things.
Hey, enchantments that are... So,
yeah.
I mentioned before, I play Enchantress. Someone tonight specifically put Fracturing Gust in their sideboard.
Oh!
For the readers at home, that is 2 white, white, green, those hybrid mana things for destroy all enchantments.
Yes.
And someone's like, you know what? This Enchantress player is not going to know what hit him. And I'm not playing tonight. I'm commenting tonight, so...
So what do you think you're going to see out of the sideboard out of Amulet Titan? Because obviously this food is
would guess limited sideboarding because he's a Karn player.
Yeah.
Karn, the great creator, getting cards out of your sideboard, you really don't have a lot of sideboarding room.
Yeah.
So you're not going to bring in a whole lot of things. He might have Dismember to kill some key creatures at the right time. Here we see him just playing an Arboreal Grazer and putting a bounce lane in and passing the turn.
Yeah.
This is just turn 3. This is the dangerous turn. We'll see if he does anything with it.
I really cannot
He's
believe
play
the
a Michael
speed
Smith
of
Garden
some of these things.
and a Dryad of Elysian Grove. This gives you an extra land drop per turn, and it makes all of your lands all colors. That is a Valak at the Molten Pinnacle.
Ooh.
Not dangerous yet. Once he gets to, I think it's 5 other mountains, that Valakut will start lightning bolting every creature every time a land is played.
Every single land. Yeah, imagine playing lightning bolts that are also lands. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. So you see Lee still on 1.
Lee's still on 1. He has a Manadork. Oh, actually, he has a Gilded Goose and a Delighted Halfling, so it's 2 Manadorks.
Yeah. This is one of these things that's like really fascinating to me as a like limited only player is the mana bases people include in Constructed, because they have very thin mana bases, very thin, because there's so many mana pips on your lands.
Yeah. It's going to pay for that Academy Manufacturer and say go. So he has mana in play. Well, so that Gilded Goose is not making another mana. It does not have another food to sacrifice.
Oh my
So he
God.
only has 2 mana to work with.
Oh,
and
no.
that Delighted Halfling only makes colors for legendaries.
Oh no.
So this might be a little bit of a tough spot for Lee. He could also just win out of nowhere. We don't know. But it looks like Sam's going to have a turn to do what he wants to do. He's going to play a Boseiju and see what else he does.
I feel like Lee's deck is largely one of those that doesn't try
That
to
is the One Ring.
one turn combo you, but incremental value combo you out.
Yep.
And so that that gives him time to play around, but 1 land is not enough.
Not nearly enough.
Not
so
nearly enough.
Sam has the One Ring. So that is a quote the One Ring unquote. That is going to give him protection for a turn, so he's not going to lose next turn. And then he's also going to draw extra cards a lot. So this is definitely, if we had an advantage bar here, this would be tilting towards Sam. Lee's going to miss his land drop again.
No. Oh,
not
no.
good. Summoner's Pact for something good. I think he has his meta in play.
He's got to get it here.
He doesn't have an Amulet, but he is going to get a Titan.
But he does have a Valakut in play.
He does have a Valakut in play.
He can Valakut at
Notice
least
how he
once.
didn't shuffle there.
Yep.
Where is he getting that second green mana? It's a Boros Garrison in a breeding pool.
I mean, it's giving him big mana, but that's not necessarily advancing.
Maybe he filtered one of them.
Because he doesn't have an Amulet here.
No,
so,
he's not. So he's not going to win on the spot.
Yeah. He's got to play at least as fair a game of Magic as Amulet's
As
capable
Amulet
of
Titan.
playing.
Titan. Or,
Titan Amulet.
yeah. Primeval Titan can play.
Yeah, we see there
A second
another
Vesuva, which is not legendary, and a Vesuva probably copying the Valakut.
Yep. Oh my God! So he's got 3 Valakuts in play.
He has 3 Valakuts in play.
So every land here is Bolt 9.
Yes.
All right.
So Lee is going to cast Force of Vigor, getting rid of the Dryad in response to the Valakut triggers. That's a very important, because that's going to prevent all of his lands from having Mountain type, which is going to stop all of the Valakut triggers.
For sure, for sure.
And he had to discard an extra Court of Calling for that, but he's happy to do that as opposed to losing the game.
So, Isaac, you mostly play Modern, right?
Yes.
What do you think draws you towards Modern in particular?
Every deck is so different. We're all using completely different ideas, different concepts, different cards. There is some homogeneity in the sideboard especially, and some value cards.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, there are decks trying to do their own thing with unique cards. And like you have to learn the ins and outs in all of them. Like Valakut's only played in one other deck.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Primeval Titan's not played in any other deck.
Yep.
You have to learn each deck on its own.
Yeah. So you've moved from deck to deck to deck. Do you know if these players have done the same?
Sam is a very consistent Amulet player. He also plays 4-color. I have not played against Lee as much. I'm not sure. But Sam usually plays between Amulet and 4-color.
Okay. So for those of you at home, Amulet of Vigor is one of these nonsense cards that land cards you play come into play untapped.
Permanents that enter tapped, untapped.
Untapped, but somehow some brewer somewhere figured out that plus Karoo lands was going to be good value. Good for them, man. Like that's a really sick deck. Do you know who invented?
I am not sure. Lee here is with another Force of Vigor on another Dryad. After Sam tries to play a Veseju to trigger those Valakuts he has in play. And Lee was like, nope, you're going to have to go find another Dryad. I do not want to lose to Valakut today.
That's reasonable. I mean, at the moment, Lee is up 20-13. So he does have a little bit of flexibility in terms of life total.
He also doesn't have any lands.
Yeah, 20 doesn't get you anywhere if you're not doing anything. Is it 1 still?
1 still. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. So all lands are forests, in addition to their other types. But they are not mountains, which Sam would hope for.
Yeah. I gotta say, keeping a 1-land hand here, it has to make sense for this player.
If you had 2 Force of Vigors, I mean...
Yeah. It's tough.
And so 2 Force of Vigors, 2 Mana Dorks, you could draw out of that, conceivably.
Yeah.
And he might still do that, but it's going to be hard, because he has not found a land yet.
Sometimes it's like an 80% chance to happen, and it doesn't occur.
Sometimes you get that 20%.
Sometimes you play XCOM, and it's terrible. And that's your life. Oh, man. What is the art here?
I believe that is a Samwise Gamgee. That is a special artwork for that card, but I believe it is just Samwise Gamgee.
That's just Samwise Gamgee. All right. What's their inspiration there?
It's pretty.
It's pretty. That's, I agree. What is that in reference to?
Lord of the Rings?
Well, yes, broadly, it is in reference to Lord of the Rings, but
it's just pretty.
It's pretty.
Don't overthink it.
That's fair. So what are players going to be bringing in from the board here? What's a normal boarding presence for these guys? Because if you were boarding Isaac, and you were playing against an unknown deck as Enchantress, and you saw this out of Lee, what would you do?
So Lee appears to have boarded in those Force of Vigors. Those are definitely sideboard cards. They're very popular sideboard cards. I would I would guess that Sam has boarded in some number of Beseju.
Okay.
Maybe also Oblivion Stone, or maybe not Oblivion Stone. He might wish for that as his Karn board. I don't know exactly what his Karn board looks like. He's boarded in Oblivion Stone against me in the past.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To great effect.
Yeah.
There's another Dryad. That's the third Dryad of the Ancient Grove this game. We'll see if this one sticks. And he's going to play a land. Trigger.
Oh, boy. All right, there it is. I mean,
that is 18 damage with 2 lands.
Yeah, that was
Sam
hard.
Wins this match.
I think that's probably the best lava axe I've ever seen. Valka is the best lava axe I've ever seen.
It's better than Lava Axe. It dealt 9 damage each.
9 damage each? And it's free?
Perhaps even more. Those were Vesuvas he put into play. If he copied the Valakut, those would be more triggers. It's like 12 and then 15.
You gotta do 10,000 damage if you can.
Say that again?
10,000? Oh. Say that again. Yeah. You wanna go?
All right, that's our third round of the evening. We have one more. Stay tuned. We're going to be back here in the next, looks like 10 minutes till we have time in the round. And we're going to have probably a little bit of overtime and then get back here. So join us back in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, with 24 players, I think probably 4 or 5 rounds is what we're looking at tonight.
We're looking at 4 rounds.
4
we
rounds.
Always do 4 rounds here.
Okay.
And
yeah, all right. See you soon.
We are back here briefly. We have a player interview with Lee. He was the one on the food combo deck. So, Lee, tell us about this food combo deck. We saw you win at one point, but we're not entirely sure how. We just saw Say pick up his cards.
Yeah. So I didn't have the win on the table, but that round was an inevitability, essentially. Because I was making so many objects, every time I played a creature, I could draw cards of the treasures from the clue, play on the creature, get stuff. And I was about to actually just cord for the win, which is the way the end state of this deck is you have Samwise Gamgee, which makes a food whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield. You've got a Cauldron Familiar, which is the cat, enters the battlefield, drains you 1. You can sack a food to bring it back from the graveyard. So every time you put the Cauldron Familiar to play, you get a food. You just need anything to sack the Cauldron Familiar multiple times a turn. And the only card I have in my deck that does that is Viscerous here, which is just a 1/1 sack a creature, scry 1. I don't even look at the top of my deck. They're just dead. You just bring the cat back infinite times, and they lose.
And then they lose. So, how are you generally approaching this matchup against Amulet?
It's mostly a race. And it's tricky too because both players have Force of Vigor, which are very good against each player. Like Titan, it's obviously good against the Urza Saga and the Dryads mostly. But sometimes you get an Amulet and it's cool, but usually they can just hold their.
Yeah, we saw you hit at least 2 Dryads there.
Yeah, that was important because it was dying. All my creatures were going to die to Valakut.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a race. I kept this risky 6-card hand because I didn't think I could win on 5. And my 6-card hand with a land and the second or third turn I thought was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, you got a couple mana dorks there to try and power through it.
I just didn't end up hitting the land until like turn 5.
Really
or
needed
6.
another one of those.
Yeah, that was rough. How many?
And what's funny is I don't know if y'all caught this, but with the collected company I cast could have won me the game there because I had Sam in play. So if I hit Cauldron Familiar and Viscerous here, the game's over. I win.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen?
It didn't happen.
It's unfortunate.
How many cards did you sideboard in your last game?
I only have 3 cards going in or out. I changed what I was doing based on the player draw.
Yeah.
So I had a few more removal spells on the draw.
So Force of Vigor, obviously. What else did you bring in?
Haywire Might.
Haywire Might. That's not main deck?
I have 1 main deck and 1 sideboard.
Yeah.
Because I have only 2 Urza Sagas in my deck.
Only 2?
Yeah,
okay.
I draw them a lot, but it's a very color-intensive deck, and you don't often want to make constructs because you're so mana-hungry. Like, unless you have Academy Manufacturer out, you're, like, pretty gated on mana because you have a ton of 3-drops in your deck for a modern deck. And you just don't really want to get tied up making constructs all the time. Mm-hmm. But it can be good sometimes in some matchups where they're not doing a lot proactively. Amulet Titan is not one of those decks.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, we just got word from our producer. Ready to go back to a break. Thank you very much for joining us for our very first player interview. And you might even see Lee on camera here for the actual convention.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you here in the next, looks
I
like
think we're
another
starting
10 minutes or so.
Because I just heard the
round is
pairings
cool.
with this
I think our pairings are going up.
Well,
All right,
yeah.
we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks, y'all.
Are they going to show up flipped?
Yes.
Okay, so we should
Yes.
move them. Okay. Yeah! Excellent. Did Donnie explain the nonsense orders?
No, and I didn't want to.
Sometimes the orders are useless, like something I can drink
All
with
right,
my mouth.
welcome back. This is Wednesday Night Modern at the Gathering Place. We are in round 4 here tonight. Yeah, we're about
We
to
got-
see Aiden Kosin and Sam Height. Sam is playing Living End, different Sam than the last round, and Aiden is playing Creativity. So this should be fun. Let's go down to the tables.
Personally really excited to see Living End. It's just a really cool deck, but Creativity is a lot of fun and one of those things that really has kind of moved into the modern scene recently,
Yep.
right? Of course it has.
Handshake before the round, and we get to decide who's going first. I didn't catch that die roll or know what they decided on, so we're just going to see who plays the card first.
So what is Creativity looking for in their starting hand here?
I am not entirely sure. So we have Creativity on the left here. Apparently he's looking for exactly what he found. They need to make a bunch of land drops. So we are seeing a Grief on turn 1. He doesn't want to play that Ren and 6 on turn 2. I don't think he has a Ren and 6, but Sam doesn't know that quite yet. So Grief on turn 1. Before any cycling has happened,
Oh,
he sees
boy.
Lightning Bolt, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Leyline Binding,
Oh my
Fairy Time
God.
Raveler, and lands. He's going to take that to Fairy Time Raveler. For those who are not paying attention at home, Fairy Time Raveler stops Living End cold.
Yeah.
It says you may not Living End at all.
It's amazing to have in the main board.
So he says, you know what, you can't keep that card.
That's a standard card for Creativity here?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very standard.
Yeah.
Teferi and Ren and 6 are the two main planeswalkers in that deck.
That's
Rafine's Tower.
Anytime you have one of these decks that's going to be graveyard recursion, you're just going to occasionally run into decks that have main board hate, just incidentally.
No, that's a Xander's Lounge. Either way, it's a tri-land.
Yeah.
Because he used an Arid Mace, it looks like, to get it, which could not get Rafine's Tower, so... No, it could, because it's white. So yeah, he's fine. So we have another tapped land on behalf of Sam. He's not getting that actually tapped, is he? He's cycling something? No, he cycled the Olifant.
Yeah,
That's what
he's
he
at
did.
18. Yep.
So how is he only at 18 is the question.
I mean, cycle the Street Wraith, that's 4?
He didn't cycle the Street Wraith. He exiled the Street Wraith to Grief.
Exiled to Grief.
He's gonna Grief
Exiled to
again.
Grief. Oh my god. This is a brand new version of Living End for me. So I'm used to seeing Cascade into Living End with
Yeah.
just like cycling sort of creatures,
Leyline
but it looks
Binding
like
to Grief.
the technology here has gotten a lot more advanced over the years.
It's not going to reveal the other two lands in his hand. Or other two cards. So Aiden loses a Fable the Mirror Breaker, but gets that Grief before it goes back into the yard. He does not want to be double griefed when the Living End resolves.
Yep. That's not even a particularly large graveyard at the moment.
Not even.
Like he's got a
There's a cycle.
lot of things to go. Oh my, is he hellbent? No, he's got 2 down there.
Two more.
All right.
He's going to draw a land with Generous Ent. That is, he's going to put a land in hand and then put a land from his fetch land on the battlefield. He puts the forest in hand.
So what have you seen these decks in action recently, Isaac?
Creativity's been on the downswing. It can't play the One Ring.
Yeah.
So he's going to get, it looks like a Steam Fence and a forest to hand. Creativity can't play the One Ring, so it's been on the down low, but it's still a good deck. It's just not the best deck right now.
Is the One Ring really that meta defining at the moment?
People want to play it, whether or not it's good enough.
Okay.
So I think it is good enough, but whether or not it is good enough, people
Yeah.
want to play it. And Creativity can't play it, so there's that.
Yeah.
Living End has got better with the same set, with the Generous Ent and the Olifant.
Oh yeah.
Providing cycling options. So he's going to cycle Street Wraith here. We're going to see a Violent Outburst. Oh, we're not. We're just going to Curator of Mysteries, cycle.
Oliphant
And
is one of these cards that,
Oh,
like...
that must have been on his turn.
Oh my god.
So Aiden is going to cycle a Triumph on the end step there
Ooh.
to draw an extra card. Doesn't want that extra land drop.
That's one of those things that it's great and limited, but very painful and constructed. You're cycling a land, you're spending 3 mana
Gonna get a
to
dwarf
replace
for that.
1 card.
Gonna play Dwarven Mines, get a dwarf. Special artwork here.
So we're at 13
Bone
to
Crusher
16.
Giants. 13 to 16.
Are either players, like... this is a board that's mostly just about controlling it.
Very much so. So he's gonna cascade here. Looks like that.
There it is. There's Living End. That's Living End.
Is that a Shardless Agent? It looks like I've not seen that artwork before.
Yeah, that looks
but
like
it is a creature
Shardless.
and it's cascading. So I'm guessing it's a Shardless Agent. He's gonna get back all these creatures. I don't know what Aiden's gonna do. It might be concede. Is that an artifact creature?
It's a something creature.
Yeah.
I think that's a Shardless Agent.
Yes, Shardless Agent. He's gonna get Living End. He's gonna get all his creatures back, and Aiden's
now
gonna say,
can he
"You know what?
manage
You
against?
Can't do that.
Oh,
You can have a prismatic ending, and that I do believe that is still enough to kill Aiden. Unfortunately.
does Modern run board wipes? Things like Supreme Verdict or whatever? Like
they do.
consistently?
Creativity does not.
Creativity does not.
He's gonna make another Dwarven Mine here, make another creature. Is he trying to creativity here? That could help. Sam is gonna be very kind and show him 2 Force of Negation. To say, whatever you try to do, I'm gonna stop it. But
Yeah.
continue on your merry way.
Shows him that, and then we don't get a concession.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's gonna play it out.
That's brave. That's
it's
brave.
going next turn anyway, so he has
Yeah.
to draw.
Yeah.
He plays his land. He has 1 card, maybe 2 cards in hand.
Oh no. Wait, what is this?
Leyline Binding. So he gets to get rid of 1 creature.
What's this mono red non-basic down here?
So this mono red non-basic stuff is Dwarven Mine. So we see Sam there, kind of Leyline Binding, and Aiden will concede there.
Yep.
The mono red nonsense is a Dwarven Mine. If you control at least 3 other mountains, when it enters untapped, and it makes a 1/1 dwarf.
Oh, okay.
So it's important for creativity because they play Indomitable Creativity, which says destroy target creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature, put it into play. It says some other things too, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
And the idea is you need a way to create creatures that doesn't involve playing creatures.
Sure.
So they play the Dwarven Mine because it's playing a land and it makes a creature, so they can cycle through and get the same creature every time. Usually they go for Archon of Cruelty.
Okay.
And they can use the dwarf from the Dwarven Mine to get that card. With sideboarding here, I bet you Aiden's going to be on the play. We see our previous round opponent, Sam Chestnut in the back there.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Playing against Zach Kirkman, I believe his name is. It was fun. Just seeing some previous round opponents. We also see Kenneth there on the top left.
Yep, there he is. You know, I got to talk to Kenny about it, and
Yeah.
he basically confirmed the same thing you were saying about Samwise, that he accomplishes a lot of different things for the deck simultaneously, and that 2-drops were just notoriously bad in Death and Taxes anyway, outside of the Hate Bears. And so it's just a great utility creature. Accomplishes a lot of what you were saying.
Yep.
Good for Ephemerate complications.
Ephemerate's a really good card.
It's a great card. Ephemerate is actually a card you can run in common and uncommon only cubes.
Nice.
You can do it. You can play real cards there.
Is it uncommon then?
Yeah.
We see some sideboarding going on here. Aiden thinking carefully about all of his choices, living in, figuring out which hate. So the cool thing, or not the cool thing, the thing about living in is you have to preemptively bring in anti-hate pieces. So if you think they're going to be on Leyline of the Void, you should bring in Foundation Breaker. If you think they're going to be on Relic of Progenitus, you have to bring in some sort of artifact destruction,
For
or
sure.
something like that. And the trick, the good players of living in win because they can bring in the right hate
anti-hate cards.
Hate cards. Anti-hate cards.
Yeah.
At the right time. And so
Yeah.
we'll see if Sam is a good living end player in that regard. Or if Aiden is a good creativity player in that he draws his hate cards. So we'll see.
He's a good player because he drew the right cards.
That's
Practice
the best way
your
to put it.
RNG at home. Just
Yeah.
shuffle decks and draw cards. You'll get really good at it.
So Aiden's going to play a card that says, you make a treasure. And that is the end of what that card says. It allows for a turn sooner creativity. It makes a treasure token, which you can also destroy with creativity. It's gonna play a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Sam's like, you know what? I'm gonna cycle in response, but that'll resolve. Link a Goblin, say go. Another Street Wraith.
So are we looking out of creativity primarily? Are we looking for them to advance their own game plan or bring in those hate cards? I don't know whether their
I
sideboard
don't know what
really looks
creativity
like,
can
right?
play as hate cards. They already
Yeah.
have the Fairy main board, which is
Yeah,
really good.
it's
If it
really
doesn't get
good.
griefed out of your hand. That's another thing. By playing that, Strike It Rich is what that card is called. Strike It Rich would make the treasure token. That allows for a turn 2 to Fairy, which is really good.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He didn't get it this time, but that's probably what he was aiming for. I don't know what other hate cards creativity has for it. They do have just actual counter spells sometimes.
Yeah.
Spell Pierce.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit him with a Goblin token, deal 2 damage, make a treasure. That could be creativity this turn.
We're already at
say
14
go.
to 16 life.
So I saw in Aiden's hand he has an Indomitable Creativity, but he is gonna cast a different card instead. Expressive Iteration. He has already played a land this turn, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong on that.
No, Isaac, you've moved from decks to decks for Modern. Have you played either of these?
And so,
piloted?
see, Aiden there is going to let that land card get exiled. You generally don't want to cast Expressive Iteration without a land drop available because you only get a third as many cards as you can get off of it.
Yeah.
So you generally want to wait for that. Aiden decided it was worth it and went ahead and exiled that land. Looks like Scalding Tarn. To answer your question, I have not played either of these decks. I've thought about playing Creativity.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive, so I haven't put it together yet.
Yeah. But as you were saying, like, there are rental decks here, or like borrowable
And Aiden
decks.
is actually renting this deck from the shop.
Aiden's renting this deck.
Well, renting is a strong word. He's borrowing it.
He's borrowing this, and he's
Yeah.
3-0 right now.
He's a very good player.
He's a very good player.
Yeah, I just wanted to try something new. He has a couple.
Wow.
So he usually plays Burn or Domain Zoo.
Oh,
And then
wow.
he just recently built Merfolk. So this
Okay.
Borrowing Creativity is a bit of an outlier for him. So I'm not sure what his motivation is there.
I'd love to know, like, is it a meta decision? Because
Yeah.
that is one of those things that
Maybe.
really might matter. Is this My Hero Academia?
Looks like
You
it.
don't watch anime. You
No, I
would
don't.
never know.
I would never know, but I think I see the word academia there.
It looks like My Hero Academia.
Our
That's-
producer has just confirmed it is My Hero
It's
Academia.
okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good shonen. You could watch that.
Is it?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Stellar recommendation. It's okay.
The real recommendation is go see Princess Mononoke. It's the best soundtrack you'll ever watch. It's the best soundtrack you'll ever
Aren't
watch.
soundtracks you're listening to?
No, because there's a depiction of a dead or a dying god that's like devouring the world, and it's indicative, I think, of like modern capitalism in a very meaningful way. And also, the soundtrack depicts a dying god devouring the world really well. Like, nobody else does that. Nobody else does
So
that.
we have Teferi Time Raveler here, which Sam is like, you know what? I would like that to resolve a turn later from now, so I'm going to sell it to you. Aiden can put it on top or the bottom of his library. I assume it will be the top, but we will see. I don't know what cards Aiden has in hand, so it goes on top, so it's going to come down next turn, but that does leave a turn for Sam to make a big living end and get a bunch of creatures into play.
Oh
So we're
my,
gonna see
that
if he
is
does
a stacked graveyard.
It's stacked. If
That
he
is
gets
a
living end
really
off, he
stacked
probably
graveyard.
wins.
You said Preston used to play this, right?
This is Preston's deck, actually.
This is Preston's deck. So Preston is a human who works here at
Yes.
the Gathering Place.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he loads his deck out to some entrepreneuring players. So Sam's
My
gonna
goodness.
find that, and he's gonna cycle front of the land, make his graveyard even bigger. I sure hope he finds that living end next
Do
turn.
it, do it, do it. I'm always surprised to see like how giving this place is in regards to stuff. They have like 300 board games here. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
I actually knocked a board game over on my way in. I had to spend some time to pick it up.
Yeah, it's
Nice
fantastic.
place.
And they have
We're not just saying that because they give us the bar tab here.
yeah, for sure. I love this place. I would fall asleep on the floor here if Josh would let me.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend the floor. We have booths for that.
You say that, but you have long legs. Have you ever slept on a bar booth?
That sounds awful.
It's awful.
So,
It
Force
is.
of Negation is going to meet the second Teferi. So, he had another answer for it. Didn't have a living end, but he did have a counter spell. That's going to exile that Teferi, and he's going to play on, get a Dwarven Mind, make it a Dwarf. Hit you for 4 now.
Love to see it. You know, this is one of these things that I feel like occasionally we've been missing out. This
It's
sort
like
of
the generous end. Or
grinding.
that is generous end.
Yep. There's been a lot of back and forth in this game so far, though. What sort of stuff are we looking at out of creativity for Game 3 in the event that they go there?
Pretty much what we're seeing now.
What we're seeing now.
They're not, so they haven't creativity yet. I
There it
imagine
is.
Aiden is a little.
What?
What happened to his lands?
It looks like he's scooping. Yeah, he's scooping.
So it looks like there must have been some more information that we're not privy to.
Yeah, Aiden scooped there for sure. I mean, at 15-6, I think it was probably just
Life
a
totals are not
decision
super
here.
relevant in this matchup. You either get all the creatures from your graveyard or you don't, and you either get an Arcana or you don't. So
Yeah.
it's really binary in that respect.
Well, if he didn't draw what he was looking for, he might have just died.
And who won that game? So it looks like they're 1-1 so far.
Yeah, they're going to Game 3.
Going to Game 3. We have 26 minutes
Yep,
left in the
yep.
round. Plenty of time for Game 3.
How many times have you gone to time?
So many times.
So many times. This is like, as an insane person who doesn't value their own time, I refuse to play in tournaments with timers, except for
Every tournament has a time limit.
they're playing Cube over there. There's no time limit over
There's
there.
totally a time limit.
The time limit is your friends get bored and start slapping you
Yeah,
in the
that is
back
the
of
time.
the head.
That is the time limit. So every tournament has a time limit.
Yeah.
We'll see them with the great play of count the life totals back up rather than hit reset life totals.
Oh my God. They're ready to go.
Ready to go. I don't remember who's playing turn 1. We're gonna find out. See what they're gonna do with his mulligans.
So
Sam is gonna send it back, go down to 6 cards,
Ooh.
which means Aiden must be keeping.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The hell is going on here with these mats?
They're pretty good mats.
They're great mats.
That's a Kitchen Finks mat on the right, and then I don't know what the left one is, but it's pretty good.
What? Like this is a fascinating, interesting art piece right there, right?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
I love line art.
Oh,
like where it's
yes! Look at that! Look at the skill involved in that cut.
Aiden knows how to cut a deck of cards. He's been playing this game for a bit. See if you cut him to a good 6 cards.
Just just cut them to 5 every single time. That's the way to go. Somebody mulled to 5, and then did they win or lose that
Sam
game?
Chestnut mulled to 5. I don't believe he won that game.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Grief turn 1.
Grief.
Exile.
Strafe.
See, expressive iteration. a white card, 2 lightning bolts, and a Ren and 6. He's going to read that white card because we don't know what it does either.
I'm going to zoom in preemptively.
It might be a Hollowed Moonlight?
Boy, the delay is like 15 seconds over here.
It's like maybe a Rune of Silence or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It must have been important because the Living End player didn't want it to come in to play.
Oh, boy. There it is.
It was a curse of silence, our producer says, so it would have stopped him from casting the Living End like he would wish to.
Playing any sort of graveyard deck in Modern is very dangerous because it opens you up to any sort of graveyard
So
hate.
much hate for it.
So much hate.
Gonna play a tap land and say go. I heard from a good Living End player last time I tried to play it that you should just put the Fear of God in them and play every land untapped, like you have something. But Sam is obviously not going with that. He's going to go with a more honest approach of I have nothing and I'm not going to pay life to bluff it.
I mean, that's a really interesting approach, right? Their life total doesn't matter as Living End. If they're going to combo you out, they're going to combo you out. And representing something
It's better than representing
is better
nothing.
than representing nothing. Yeah.
Even if you have nothing to represent.
2 life is worth that mind game.
We have a Ren and 6 here. Gonna get back that land. It's a pretty good combo. Ren and 6 plus fetch land.
They don't have a token on the Ren and 6?
A die. There's a die next to it. There's a 4.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there it is.
Sam Hyatt with another gorgeous land base.
I'm very partial to the full art from Zendikar original. I think that the art in that is a lot of fun.
Yes, those are pretty good. Gonna play a Shard of this Agent, get a Living End,
Yep.
put the rest of the cards in the bottom of the library, get back a slew of creatures.
That's not
See if
an
it's gonna be
enormous
enough.
3.
Get a Grief, get rid of his Expressive Iteration, so there's 2 bolts that could take care of the Grief and the Architects of Will. But Sam is going to say, you know what, I want to look at your next 3 cards and make them in the order I want them, without Architects of Will. So there might be a couple bolts here. Aiden might choose to shuffle with that fetch land he has in hand, and that Ren and 6. Because he says, you know what, I don't want to take your bespoke draws, Sam. But we'll see. He's not dead yet, but that generous end is going to get somewhere. There's that Grief gone down.
So there's some board games like Bonanza
There's the
where you're
Architect's Will.
literally not allowed to shuffle your hands, and anytime I try to teach a Magic player, it's the most frustrating.
That sounds awful.
It's terrible.
Why wouldn't you shuffle your hands?
Yeah, exactly. You should do this constantly, even if you're not paying attention. It's a muscle memory,
Yeah,
right?
I have a problem if I'm playing. So I play a lot of spades, and you need to keep your cards in order, like by suit and then by number.
Oh no.
And I just like, you know what? Let's just shuffle. Let's go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Incredible.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a story. Charles, one of the people who shows up for board games, he has six decks of playing cards sleeved. Do you think that's an indication that he's a serial killer?
I wish I had enough determination to sleeve my playing cards.
They're like $4. Just replace them.
What if you like playing with sleeves?
That's actually the argument. That's the
Yeah,
counter
what if you
argument.
actually like the mechanics better of shuffling with
Mash
sleeves?
shuffling with sleeves
So
is
much
the
easier.
best thing in the universe. It's so good.
The hard part is finding the right size sleeves. 'Cause I believe USBC playing cards are different size. There's that Teferi met with the Subtlety. Teferi's going on top.
Oh my god.
And putting cards down with force. Why is the Subtlety sticking around? Did he cast that? He must have cast that.
Oh.
Yeah, he hard cast that.
Yeah,
subtlety.
he did. He did.
You see him casting right now.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, the Teferi is going to come down, and it's going to be met with a Force of Negation. Hard cast again. Who needs pitch spells when you can just hard cast them?
Excellent. There's still people fighting over Cube over there.
We're watching Modern, sir.
We can watch Modern and listen to people arguing about commons.
So we have Sam attacking with a Generous Stamp, which is big, otherwise known as block-worthy, and then a Subtlety and a Shardless Agent, so that's going to be 5 damage coming in there towards Aiden. He's going to have to find something quick, otherwise he's going to lose on board.
Yeah, that's rough. Oh, we have a chat thing. Wait a second. Let me call this up.
I feel like it needs to be an iPad.
Like, why is it making me do that? There we go.
We have a handshake. That is game.
Oh my god.
Thank you very much to our players, Aiden and Sam Height. Aiden Kosen and Sam Height for Aiden on creativity and Sam on living end. It's a wonderful game. I believe that got taken there by Living End. Putting enough creatures in the graveyard in play, and that was convincing enough for Aiden to scoop it up.
And there we also see our burn player here.
That's our first round burn player.
Shane?
Shane was his name, yes.
Yep. Chat. Oh.
All right. That is night for you. That's all 4 rounds of Modern. Thank you very much for watching the Gathering Place stream. Join us. We're going to have an event in August. That's going to be an even bigger event.
I think, actually, Isaac, even better than that, we're going to be doing streams every Wednesday night.
Every week until then.
Every week until then, we're going to be using streams of Modern Magic, showing what the best has to offer, and hopefully we can get Isaac or somebody who knows what's going on here into the board, into the booth.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Join back. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Take care.